Imagine you're back in school. The teacher is scribbling equations on the chalkboard. Algebra, geometry, maybe a history lesson about George Washington. All important in their own way. But let me ask you something. Did anyone stop to show you how to calculate your net worth? Did anyone explain what an income statement looks like or how to keep yourself out of debt? Probably not. And yet, those are the lessons that shape almost every day of your adult life. It's strange, isn't it? We train kids to solve quadratic equations, but not to read a paycheck. We memorize the periodic table, but never learn how compounding interest quietly grows or quietly erodes our savings. It's not a conspiracy theory. It's simply how the system was built. Schools were designed to create workers who fit into the machine, not owners who build machines. Think about it. From the time you were young, you were trained to fit into a structure. Follow instructions, meet deadlines, stay inside the lines. Those habits make for reliable employees. But they don't teach you how to be free. And financial freedom is not about how smart you are with numbers. It's about how you think about money, how you behave with money, and how you pass those behaviors to the next generation. Let's pause here. Wherever you are right now in life, maybe you're comfortable, maybe you're struggling. It's worth reflecting on this. Your financial situation today is the mirror of your past thoughts and actions. The way you've thought about spending, about saving, about risk, it all adds up. And here's the good news. If thoughts created this outcome, new thoughts can create a new one. We've been told that money is complicated. Ratios, formulas, graphs that look like they belong in an economics PhD program. But in reality, money is built on a few simple behaviors repeated over time. Spend less than you earn. Invest the difference. Avoid debt traps. Learn patience. None of that requires advanced math. What it requires is reprogramming your brain to stop believing that wealth is out of reach. Reprogramming doesn't mean brainwashing yourself with affirmations taped to the bathroom mirror. It means changing the story you tell yourself about money. For example, if you grew up believing rich people are greedy, then of course you'll subconsciously push wealth away. If you believe money is too complicated for people like me, you'll avoid learning. The fifth step is replacing those beliefs with healthier ones. Wealth is not evil. Money is not magic. It is simply a tool that anyone can learn to use. And let's be honest, there are industries that profit from keeping you confused. The financial jargon, the get-rich-quick schemes, the ads for credit cards with rewards that somehow end up costing you more, they all rely on one thing: a tired, distracted mind that makes impulse decisions. That's why candy bars are at the checkout counter. It's the same principle. You're nudged into choices that serve someone else's balance sheet, not yours. Once you see this, you can't unsee it. You start noticing how many messages around you are designed to keep you spending instead of building. The next time an ad interrupts your favorite show or YouTube video, ask yourself, who profits if I believe this message? Because most of the time, it isn't you. So let's talk about reprogramming the way you think. Because here's the truth. Being good with money is not a natural talent. It's a learned behavior. If you can learn how to drive a car, repair a sink, code a computer, or bake bread, you can learn how to manage money. The difference is that society rewards one set of skills with classes and training, while the other is left to chance. Most of us are left to figure out money the hard way. But think about this. You've already learned dozens of skills in life, from tying your shoes to using a smartphone. Some were simple, some were frustrating. Yet you learned them. Managing money works the same way. The hardest part isn't the math, it's overcoming the stories in your head. Stories like, I'll never get ahead, or the system is stacked against me. Some of those fears are rooted in truth, but they become dangerous when they stop you from even trying. This is why retraining your mind matters so much. Because if you don't, you fall into the default path. And the default path is designed to keep you broke. Look at how consumer culture operates. We are surrounded by messages telling us to buy, spend, upgrade, consume. Every billboard, every ad on your phone, every commercial is whispering the same thing. Happiness is for sale, and the fastest way to get it is with your credit card. But here's the catch. That happiness fades, the bill remains, and the cycle repeats. You don't build wealth by consuming. You build wealth by producing, by saving, by investing, by thinking long-term while everyone else chases short-term comfort. Now, this doesn't mean you should never buy things you enjoy. Life is not meant to be a prison of frugality. It means being intentional. It means asking, do I own this thing, or does this thing own me? Does this purchase bring me freedom or chain me tighter to debt? One of the strangest beliefs many of us were raised with is the idea that being rich is somehow shameful. Maybe you heard phrases like, money changes people, or the rich are greedy. Those messages sink in deep, and when they do, they create an invisible ceiling. Because if you believe wealth is bad, you will sabotage yourself the moment it starts to grow. The truth is, wealth doesn't change who you are. It amplifies who you already are. If you're generous, money lets you give more. If you're creative, money buys you time to create. If you're selfish, money makes that obvious too. The money itself is neutral. It's the hands it's in that decide the story. Here's another myth we've been sold. Most rich people inherited their wealth. That idea is comforting because it means I'm not rich because I didn't win the lottery of birth. But research tells a different story. The majority of millionaires didn't inherit large sums. They built their wealth through decades of saving, investing, and steady discipline. They lived below their means. They stayed consistent when others gave up. That isn't glamorous, but it is real. And the moment you accept it, excuses lose their power. So let's bring this together. If you want new financial outcomes, you need new financial thinking. Not louder gurus, not another miracle app, just a decision to rewrite the patterns you were handed. Because the world will always give you reasons to stay broke. Debt is normal. Overspending is normal. Complaining about capitalism while still buying the latest gadget is normal. But wealth is never built on what's normal. It's built by doing what most people will not. Think back to the lessons you didn't get in school. No one handed you a guidebook on taxes, mortgages, or insurance, yet every adult has to face them. It's not high-level knowledge reserved for economists. It's sixth-grade math, wrapped in real-world consequences. But we were left to stumble into it. That gap isn't an accident. When people don't know how money works, they're easier to control, easier to sell to, easier to keep in the cycle of working and spending. Consider the difference it would have made if you had learned early how interest works on a loan, or how stacking assets leads to freedom while stacking liabilities leads to chains. Imagine if every teenager walked into adulthood already knowing how to read a balance sheet, how to compare insurance policies, how to avoid debt traps. We live in a very different world. Instead, most of us learn those lessons the painful way after mistakes that cost years of progress. But mistakes don't have to define the rest of your journey. They can be the tuition you pay for wisdom. The real danger isn't in making financial mistakes. It's in repeating them because you never rewired the thinking behind them. That's why the work starts in the mind. Every financial decision flows from how you see yourself and your possibilities. Ask yourself, do you focus more on what you can't control than what you can? Many people do. Inflation, the government, the system, those are real forces. But dwelling on them gives away your power. You can't rewrite the tax code. You can't change global markets. But you can change what you do with your paycheck. You can decide whether debt is your master or your tool. You can decide if you will be a consumer first or a builder first. The shift happens when you stop asking, why is the world unfair? And start asking, what can I do today with what I have? That single change in focus is the seed of wealth. It's uncomfortable because it points the mirror back at you, but that's where progress begins. There's another subtle trap. We're taught to chase money by working more hours or stacking side hustles. And while income matters, it isn't the foundation. If you don't reprogram the way you think, more income just multiplies the same mistakes. A bigger paycheck with the same bad habits is just a bigger mess. True wealth comes when your mind learns to handle money with purpose, no matter the amount. This is why so many people feel stuck. They keep reaching for new tools, apps, courses, side gigs, without ever addressing the core, the thoughts that drive their behavior. If your thoughts say, I'll never be good with money, then every paycheck confirms it. But if your thoughts shift to, I can learn, I can change, then your behavior follows, and so do your results. Look at the culture around us. It runs on consumption. Every ad, every notification, every sale is designed to convince you that your life is incomplete without another purchase. We are trained to spend, not to build. That's why thrift stores and secondhand shops are full of barely used, high-quality items. People bought them in moments of impulse, only to discard them later. It's evidence of a society that values consumption over creation. The machine needs you to keep buying. That's how it keeps turning. And yet, if you step back, you'll see how much of this is programming. We are told from a young age that success looks like the newest phone, the latest fashion, the bigger car. But the more you chase those symbols, the less free you become. Debt piles up, stress grows, and freedom slips further away. Here's a sobering truth. Most of us were taught that wealth is suspicious. If someone has money, they must have cheated or exploited others. That belief is powerful because it justifies staying broke. It says, I'm not rich because I'm honest, as if poverty is proof of integrity. But reality doesn't support that belief. The majority of millionaires didn't exploit anyone. They simply did what others avoided. They lived below their means, invested steadily, and stayed patient. The stereotype that rich equals bad is just another mental barrier. Think about what happens when you hold on to that belief. The moment you start to get ahead, you feel guilty. You sabotage yourself. You spend away the progress so you don't feel like one of them. That's how powerful these mental scripts are. They control you until you choose to rewrite them. Another common story we're fed is that rich people all inherited their wealth. It's a comfortable excuse because it lets us off the hook. If wealth is only for the lucky few who were born into it, then why even try? But the research paints a different picture. Most people with a net worth of 1 or 2 million built it themselves. Not through a jackpot, but through steady choices, saving, investing, owning instead of renting, producing instead of just consuming. That truth removes the excuse. It means wealth is possible for ordinary people. It means the difference isn't luck, it's behavior. And that can feel uncomfortable because it forces responsibility back onto us. But it's also empowering because if wealth depends on behavior, then your future is not sealed by your past. So here's the choice in front of you. Stay on the path of programming where debt and consumption define your life, or step off that path and begin rewriting your money story. It doesn't happen overnight, but it does happen. With each choice, each thought, each new behavior, you train your mind to see money differently. And when your mind changes, your outcomes change. Reprogramming your money mindset starts with small, deliberate steps. It's not about waking up tomorrow with a millionaire's habits. It's about changing one thought at a time, one action at a time, until the compound effect begins to work in your favor. Just like compound interest grows quietly in the background, small shifts in thinking accumulate into massive changes over years. Start by questioning the automatic responses you've carried since childhood. When you see a wealthy person, do you assume they cheated to get there? When you get a bonus, is your first thought about how to spend it instead of how to grow it? When a new gadget comes out, do you feel like you're missing out if you don't buy it? Each of those thoughts reveals the scripts running in your head. The work is to catch them and ask, is this thought leading me closer to freedom or keeping me stuck? Another step is to focus on the basics that schools never taught. Learn how to calculate your net worth. It's simple. List what you own, subtract what you owe, track it over time. Watch it grow as you make better decisions. Learn how to read a paycheck, not just for the net number, but for the deductions. Taxes, insurance, retirement contributions, understand where your money flows. Knowledge here is power. It takes away the fog and replaces it with clarity. Also, practice the discipline of delayed gratification. Most financial pain comes from wanting everything now, but wealth rewards patience. Think of the difference between buying a car every 3 years on credit versus driving a reliable car for a decade and investing the difference. Over time, the gap is enormous. The patient person isn't deprived. They're simply playing a longer game. And finally, surround yourself with better inputs. What you listen to, what you read, who you spend time with, all of it shapes your financial mindset. If everyone around you normalizes debt and overspending, you'll fall into the same trap. But if you start learning from people who value building, saving, and investing, you'll gradually adopt their habits. Guard your mind carefully, because every message you absorb is either training you to stay broke or helping you move toward freedom. The journey isn't about perfection. You will make mistakes, you will backslide, that's expected. But if the overall direction is forward toward clarity, discipline, and ownership, then the setbacks don't stop you. They just become lessons. And each lesson makes your foundation stronger. Money is not the enemy, wealth is not evil, and freedom is not reserved for the lucky. The system may not have trained you for it, but you can train yourself. The power is already in your hands. The question is whether you'll use it. If you've made it this far, it means you care about rewriting your money story. That decision alone sets you apart. Remember, wealth is not about luck or complexity. It's about simple, consistent choices that anyone can learn. Your mind shapes your money, and your money shapes your freedom. If this message spoke to you, take a moment to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and drop a comment about the biggest money belief you're working to change. Share this video with someone you care about, because we all know at least one person who needs to hear it. I wish you good luck on your journey. Keep learning, keep building, and keep moving forward. Feel free to explore the other videos here on the Passive Path for more lessons and stories to guide you. I'll see you in the next one.